The fate of the global economy may depend on a thin strip of water off the coast of Iran. The Strait of Hormuz has now been closed for over a week, with no clear sign of reopening in sight. Nearly one-fifth of the world's oil supply normally flows through this single choke point, and every day that it remains closed, the pressure on the global economy continues to grow. To understand the seriousness of this matter and how it may impact you financially, let's begin by looking at the Gulf Cooperation Council, or the GCC. The GCC is made of Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, and the UAE. These countries are oil exporting economies, meaning oil exports are their primary source of income. If oil doesn't leave these countries, no money flows in. On top of that, the GCC relies heavily on foreign workers and tourism. In some cases, like the UAE and Qatar, nearly 88% of the population consists of migrant workers, expatriates, and tourists. During wars or economic crises, the wealthy leave, tourism collapses, and many migrant workers lose their jobs. But the problem doesn't stop there. The GCC countries also import 85 to 90% of their food, and roughly 70% of those imports pass through the Strait of Hormuz. If the closure continues, these nations could face both a financial crisis and a food security crisis at the same time. This risk is compounded by the ever-looming possibility of Yemen joining the war. If Yemen becomes involved in the conflict, it is likely to disrupt and halt shipping in the Red Sea once again. This time, however, with the ongoing closure of the Strait of Hormuz, it becomes clear how a potential strangle really begins to take hold over these Gulf economies and global shipping. As you can see, the combined strain of no oil exports, no food imports, and the exodus of foreign visitors can severely damage the economies of these nations. Now, how does it impact the United States and the rest of the world? The Gulf economies are deeply tied to global financial markets, especially in the United States. Together, the GCC holds over $1 trillion in American assets, including stocks, real estate, infrastructure, and private equity, with trillions more pledged for future investments. If oil exports remain blocked for long, the GCC nations may begin to run short on cash. That could force them to pull billions of dollars from the American stock market, creating sudden volatility in the US economy that ripples across the world. Meanwhile, the energy impact itself is already being felt globally. Major economies like China, India, Japan, and Korea rely heavily on oil from the Persian Gulf. Any disruption drives up energy prices, and when energy prices rise, the cost of just about everything else rises with it. We've seen before what can happen with a sudden drop in the oil supply. Similar disruptions, like the 1973 oil crisis, triggered major economic slowdowns around the world. The economic stakes are so high that this choke point alone could be used by the United States to justify expanding the war, not just for strategy, but to prevent global markets from collapsing. However, there is a fundamental problem that not even the world's most powerful navy can overcome: the threat environment. As discussed in my previous video, both the Navy and commercial ships would have to navigate a highly dangerous environment filled with ballistic missiles, drones, and naval mines. For this very reason, the US Navy has pulled its ships hundreds of miles away and has rejected numerous requests to provide protective escorts to commercial ships and oil tankers. In short, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is not just a regional issue, it's a global one. GCC economies face the risk of financial crisis and food shortages. Energy prices around the world could surge, and the pressure on global markets could fuel both recession and a greater military intervention. The longer this continues, the more likely this crisis is to spread far beyond the Middle East. Ultimately, the fate of the global economy may rest on this narrow but crucial stretch of water. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and leave a comment.